Hello guys, welcome to Tech, and today we will be reviewing the Xigmatek Poseidon case, and special thanks to Xigmatek Philippines for sponsoring this video. By the way, this case is already out in the market and currently priced at 4,850 pesos. And if you want to buy one, just message the Xigmatek Philippines Facebook page. So let's unbox the Xigmatek Poseidon first and see what are the accessories included. Xigmatek Poseidon is one of the newest cases from Xigmatek. It supports ATX, Micro ATX, and ITX motherboards. It is a compact mid-tower case with a dual tempered glass with an LED strip on the front panel. It also comes with the 4 pre-installed Xigmatek Galaxy AY120 addressable RGB fans that supports motherboard sync like Aura Sync, MSI Mystic Light, RGB Fusion, and ASRock Polychrome Sync. With regards to the quality and structure of the case, there are a lot of things to improve on this case. The screws for the tempered glass is a bit short and I'm not sure if it can handle or hold the tempered glass side panel very well. There is also a removable dust filter at the top and the bottom area, which is really good. Removing the front panel is a bit hard. You need to pull it towards you and put some force to remove it. Then another thing that shocked me was the case fans that are attached literally to the front panel, and wondering how the fans can pull air without any space. Luckily, you can remove the fans and mount it inside the case to have a 2-inch clearance on the front for the intake. Later on, I will show you the result of the temperature test when the fans are attached to the front panel and mounted inside the case. For the I/O ports of this case, it has a 2 USB 2.0, 2 USB 3.0, and 1 HD audio jack. It can also support 128 or 240mm radiator at the top, which I doubt wouldn't be possible if you are using an ATX motherboard, so there will be a clearance issue on this part. But you can also put 120mm radiator at the rear or 120 or 240mm radiator in the front, which would be the best position for your liquid cooler. For the clearances, you can put up to 165mm CPU cooler for the height, 360mm for the GPU, and 170mm for the power supply. There are also a lot of things to improve with regards to the clearance of this case, the liquid cooler at the top, the power supply area, as well as the backside or for the cable management. Let's proceed with the temperature test. Of course, we will be using my Ryzen 5 1400 and Aorus GTX 1060. We will test both on their stock speed and overclock speed. We will be testing out the two types of the mounting position on the front panel to determine which position would be the best for airflow intake. As for the result of our temperature test, we can see that on the stock speed for both CPU and GPU, the case is providing sufficient airflow to maintain a good temperature. But if we overclock the CPU to 3.9 GHz and the graphics card to 1860 MHz, we can see that there is a significant increase on the temperature and it's not really good. I also tested the default orientation of the case fans when it arrived here, wherein the case fans are attached to the front glass panel without any space for intake, and as expected, the airflow and temperature are terrible. Building experience on this case is quite hard. As I go through the process, I'm learning that this case is just built for aesthetics. You can see the position of the fans on the front panel. There is no space for the intake. The cable management is really hard as well. I'm not the best in cable management, but I've handled a lot of cases with different clearances for the cable management, but this one is a bit different. It's not how limited the space is, but the wires are routing on one side, making it really hard to compress them, and I can't even close the back panel because of the controller. All wires are routing on one side at the back, and I tried routing the I/O wires on the other side and tried to distribute the wires, but it's still really hard for me. Take note that if you want this case and you have a full modular power supply, cable management will be easy for you. And also, I find the HDD area a bit weird. The HDD cage only has one tray and the other one can be mounted at the top of the HDD cage. You can also add 2 SSD at the back, but I think it will be difficult to mount because of the cable management issue. For the fans, the Galaxy AY120 fans features motherboard sync option, which is really good for RGB lovers. The fans that are included is also called Xigmatek Galaxy 2 fans, and the model included on our case is the AY120 that features 1500 RPM and 46.58 CFM, which is quite good for a normal to moderate gaming and overclocking. As you can see on the result of our temperature test, the case is sufficient enough for stock speed for both CPU and GPU. But for overclocking both CPU and GPU, you can see that it struggles to maintain a good temperature. Take note that I'm using a stock cooler, so keep in mind that having an aftermarket air cooler or liquid cooler will give much better result in terms of CPU temperature. The price for this case is on the mid-range side already. There are lots of dual tempered glass cases with better clearance and airflow for that price range, so I think 4,800 peso mark is a bit overpriced for a compact mid-tower case. It would have been a competitive price if they lowered it to around 3,000 or something. Before we end the review of the Xigmatek Poseidon, let's summarize our review with the pros and cons of this case. So for our pros, it has a dual tempered glass design. It also comes with 4 pre-installed addressable RGB case fans. It has a solid quality and structure. And lastly, a good airflow intake if you mount the case fans inside the case. For the cons, we have the poor intake on the front if you leave the case fans attached to the front panel. It also has a poor cable management feature. The clearance on the PSU area is also hard to work with, a bit overpriced for a compact mid-tower case, and lastly, you cannot install a 240mm radiator at the top if you are using an ATX motherboard. Overall, this case for me is not that highly recommended, but if you love RGB and money isn't an issue, you can consider the Xigmatek Poseidon. However, it would be better if they focus on the main purpose of the case like airflow, cable management, and clearances. But if you're looking for the best value case, there are lots of cases with dual tempered glass and some also has a mesh front panel with a solid price tag. You can also consider another case from Xigmatek, the Xigmatek Aquarius, which is similar to Lian Li Dynamic, so stay tuned for the review of that case. And that's it guys for our review of the Xigmatek Poseidon. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to buy this case, make sure to message Xigmatek Facebook page for the availability. And again, thank you so much Xigmatek Philippines for providing this case. Make sure to support our channel by using our Lazada and Amazon affiliate. And as always, happy gaming!
Oh,